This is a quick video to show you some of the accessibility features available in Perlego ebooks that might just make reading a book a bit more accessible and straightforward depending on your needs. So generally, Perlego is considered quite accessible and it has a lot of features that other ebook databases wouldn't have. One thing just to point out before we click into a book and start looking around is that some books may be either PDF or EPUB in terms of format. So to check this, if you click on a book and scroll down, you can see on the left hand side, one of the things listed under the book cover is EPUB mobile friendly. So EPUB is just a more flexible format, and a lot of the accessibility features we look at now may not be available if a book is only available as PDF. So these are things like changing text size or font color and stuff like that we'll look at in a moment. I would say most books on Perlego do seem to be EPUB, so that's obviously a positive. So you will have these accessibility features available for most books, I would say. Another thing you can take note of is just above the title of the book here top, there'll be a little note that will say this book has read aloud. So this means that the book can be read out by the database, which is obviously useful in terms of accessibility and also just for people who want to maybe download the book on the mobile app and listen to it on the go. So this won't be available for every book, but again, from my experience, it's available on most books on Perlego. You can just confirm that there. So if we click into this particular book, which is EPUB, just take a couple of seconds to load up. You can see here it could prompt you to read the first chapter if you want, or you can go to open table of contents. So we'll just go to read first chapter. And I'm just going to focus on the kind of accessibility elements. We have another video that covers all the kind of options on the left-hand taskbar here. So I suppose the first thing to point out is when you hover over any of these, so if you hover over the Perlego logo, which will bring you back to the home page, you can see there's keyboard shortcuts available. So Alt plus H for home page. And as you go down through them all, they all have the keyboard shortcut listed next to the title. So the search function itself in the book could be considered an accessibility tool. It may make things easier to find, locate in the book. You have a dictionary, then you've got things like bookmarks and notes and highlights, which again might make life easier in terms of keeping track of information. The main accessibility features, however, are probably down here in settings. So if we just click the cog here, or Alt plus S, and as I said, this is an EPUB format, so that means we have a lot more options here that you mightn't have if you go to a PDF. But you can see here you can make the text size larger. So that's the very first option, text size. You can make it quite large. The next one is text style. So that's how you change your font. So you've got three options here, Georgia, Arial, and then Open Dyslexic, which, as the name suggests, is designed with the idea that it's easier for people with dyslexia to kind of read and understand. But that may depend on kind of personal preference too, but you can always try it out. You can also change the page width. You can close this out if you want to take a look at what that looks like. And then you have background color. So if the contrast isn't quite clear enough for you, you could change it to black. It's currently set as a kind of paper color. You also have the option of white. The next option then is text color, and this is provided by a service Beeline Reader, which specializes in kind of contrast and accessibility. So you have all these different options that you can take a look at yourself. but they're all kind of basically creating contrast in the text. So some will work better than others. You can see this last one is quite a dramatic one. It changes to black and then it inverts the text. So again, similar to the Open Dyslexia one, this has been designed based on research that makes it states that it'll be easier to kind of read and follow along as the color changes with the text. So again, this will differ for every person. Some people might find some functions better than others. If you do make a lot of changes and you need to just reset to the default and maybe start again, you can click that down the bottom. And then you can see here, enable keyboard shortcuts. So that will be automatically enabled. So you don't need to do anything with that. It's only if you wanted to turn it off for any reason. And I suppose the good thing here is that if you do find a setting that works for you or a color contrast that works for you, once you set it for this book, when you go into another book, it'll maintain those settings until you go back and change them again. So you won't have to keep doing this for every book once you find something that works for you. The final feature then, as kind of mentioned at the start, is the read aloud. So again, you've got Alt plus R if you want to use the keyboard shortcut, and that will read the book out to you. So it reads it a chapter at a time when you click the one here on the left hand side at the bottom of the taskbar. There are also options to do it page by page. So you can see here within the text, just to the left at the top of any of the pages or paragraphs, sometimes you can click it and then it'll just read out that particular section for you. They are some of the main accessibility features, so hopefully you find those useful. If you need any other help, don't hesitate to get in contact with the library. So library@icepe.eu. Thank you.